So this is probably the third intro I've recorded looking at different trucks. But if I had to pick any truck and any paint scheme and any trim level, this one checks all the boxes. And it's only like 2.5 hours away, so seems like a win-win. I used to have to worry about somebody stealing it before I got here. That dog's got a coat on. A few toys in here, don't you?
Yeah, I got to keep a couple.
Oh, you even got the trailer to go with that thing, huh?
A friend of mine built it and I bought it, so that's all I know.
And this is the one we're after, huh? Oh, it has a color matched bed liner in it, doesn't it?
I haven't started it today or nothing, but it is how it is.
Wow, this thing's perfect. It's a little lower than my last one.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't really a car hauler,
Right.
but it kind of was.
Yeah, on some of these lower ones, well, they got them drop trailers that drop to the ground. Those are nice, but they're like 18, 20 grand.
I'd have as much in a trailer as I do the trucks I haul with them, but
I guess if that's what you need, though, I've been on buy one, but I try not to haul them too much.
of course then you get some guys that'll have a $1,200 trailer. Couldn't care less.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen it. I tried to go in the weather's nice, and it's not, try not to let the weather's bad, we take a few
Well, can I try to bust it off?
Yeah, yeah.
Set the accelerator pump.
Sorry, not good.
Set the wheel key, I guess. Let me get you a whole pile of money. One thing I want to point out to you guys that's coming soon. Yesterday I bought 5 gallons of primer and 5 gallons of paint for this dingy colored garage. So the videos on this build are going to look way better than the ones in the past. Not just because this is probably the best looking truck that we've ever done here. And I mean, it is nice and straight. I say an 8.5 on the paint, to be honest. Well, that's interesting. Some of the things are really hard to see in that dark shot, but honestly, I was buying a clean, rust-free, good enough paint, doesn't require interior type of truck. The rest of it we can handle. Under the hood, it's not absolutely terrible until it was a factory air truck, and at one point someone put a replacement crate engine. I don't know why they would choose a 305, but they did. Here's an area you always want to look at if you're shopping for these square bodies, because old vented batteries used to always leak. And down here would kind of catch the result of that, and it would rust out pretty bad. First things that you look at if the outside looks pretty good on these is how you saw me check right here. These cab corners tend to not drain well, and so they'll rust real bad. You can usually see it easier in the door jamb. I also noticed that whoever painted this did a pretty poor job, that has the red paint over the top of this stopper. Interesting lack of good masking, rubbing compound. If this gets clogged at all, and especially back here, holds water. It'll also get water just in the pinch weld or in this seam that's basically just pinched, and that'll rust out. So one of the first things you want to look at, a lot of you keen-eyed guys probably noticed right away that the moldings were missing off the back, both the corner moldings and then the strip that goes across the tailgate. So never fear, I have that stuff on order. What worries me is they put these moldings too low, and that's why they didn't continue the corner moldings in the back of the tailgate. And I expect they did that because whoever painted this put the tape line too low, and I'm afraid if you raise this up, it may let some of the black show underneath it. A roll of this on order, and these back corner pieces coming. So we'll figure that out if we need to pull those off and raise them up to complete this look. Also, the entire license plate bucket area missing. So that's on order as well, so we can run a plate. Another example of kind of a lazy painter, didn't bother masking off that plastic grating that's underneath the cowl. All of this stuff just kind of got painted. Notice this trim, this used to be chrome. It's in pretty poor shape. Same goes for the rear. Kind of needs to be replaced with something nice, but never fear, that's on order as well. So all the trim, the end pieces for the bed, the windshield lock strip, the rear glass lock strip, the little license plate box, and when I looked underneath here, I can see like that ball joint's toast. It looks like they put lowering springs on it and spindles. And you know, these guys, these steering gear boxes are notorious for leaking, and they're kind of troublesome. So what I've done is reached out to the guys at Total Cost Involved, also known as TCI Engineering. They're gonna send me the entire front suspension with their cross member or K member, the whole nine. It's gonna be rack and pinion. It'll come with 12-inch rotors, and I think oversized calipers or bored out pistons in the calipers or something, and the 4-link for the rear suspension. So that's on order. That'll be here in about a month. So in order to lower it, they did an axle flip kit. You can see that they've put the leaf springs on the bottom of the axle instead of the top. The nice Beltec shocks like we did on our square body that we built. But I found it interesting, they did not install C-notches in the frame, which kind of makes it pretty tight there, that gap between the axle and the bump stops. If it had C-notched that, this thing would have had lots of rear suspension. So when we do our 4-link kit, it will come with those C-notches also from TCI. I would call the interior good enough, at least for now. I mean, these things aren't perfect. There's a split in it right here. It's just not beautifully clean, almost like it was an original door panel that they did a little work on. and there's no carpet on the bottom, so we'll probably fix that. Seat's pretty cool, pretty nice vinyl, and then that matching inserts with the cup holders. And I trust none of these gauges. And with the dual tank setup, with the switch, I don't know if it'll actually switch from one tank or the other. Those things could be kind of finicky. If you're tired of hearing me talk about it and want to go for a ride, so Sable, come on. You have to scoot over some. All right. That's the first time it's started since we pulled it in the garage the other day. Fires right up. If you set the accelerator pump and crank it, if I bump the throttle right now, it'll probably bring the idle down. Voila. Might need to do something about that mirror. According to this gauge, we've got more gas than the tank can hold. Probably go to this wide mode so you guys can see better. Huh. Oh, by the way, I did check the oil and the transmission fluid both before we just started driving this thing down the road. Because technically, you guys have seen 100% of the driving that I've done in this so far. Oh, those brakes work. Holy cow. By the way, on the TCI stuff, oh, I gave it a little too much throttle. Wait, what is neutral? Not let me crank it. By the way, on the TCI kit, I am just having them send it to me with the 12-inch rotors. They offer a 13-inch wheel wood and a 14-inch wheel wood, but it's $2,000 and up, and this truck certainly doesn't need it. It's plenty lightweight. We're not running 24 or 26-inch wheels, and we're not autocrossing it. So far, so good, Savvy. No speedometer. Maybe the voltmeter works. Maybe. So it's like it's coming up to temperature, and the oil pressure's come down some, which tells me that's probably working because it would have been really high when cold. The heater works as long as you just want it to come out on the floor. Sable's over here sweating to death. But it definitely has a miss that I feel like an LS swap will probably fix. You know, overall, I'd call this test drive a win. I appreciate you guys watching. We'll see you next time when we start modifying this thing.